Hello, good afternoon. I thought to wake you up a bit, but I think the previous presentation already did that and did a great job with that. I want to ask everyone that is interested to please sit down because there is a little exercise as well involved. So please take a seat here and we can continue. The song was not really only to wake you up, but it was also about running. And in this case, you see people running away from an earthquake. But the question is also, so what do we think to run from in the case of an earthquake? Because often there is very, very little time, and there isn't much that we can do. A lot of damage has already been done. So what to do instead? And what kind of information do we need to make decisions on handling things in case of earthquakes? That is a bit the topic of today. Before we continue, maybe I should introduce myself. I'm Nicole Keller, and I work at the Global Earthquake Model, which is a worldwide collaborative effort to develop tools and resources for earthquake risk assessment. I will get into that in a minute. I wanted to tell you a bit more also about me, and that says a bit about GEM as well, in the sense that I do communications and I'm not necessarily very passionate about earthquakes, but I am passionate about people and sustainable development and inclusive growth. And I think it's very important to work on that also in the context of DRR, and I think GEM is doing that. But we'll get to that in a minute. So now, before we continue, I wanted to know from you, and please stand up if that's the case, who thinks they know what their earthquake risk is? So the risk in their environment where they live or where they work. Please stand up. Okay. Please sit down again, thank you. What I also wanted to know is who has genuinely thought about safety measures or perhaps insurance for their house for earthquakes, but maybe even for other disasters. We can cheat a little bit. Who has thought about that? Stand up. Same people? Oh, more or less. And who has thought about real decisions, so maybe not only for themselves, but also for their organization or the people they are responsible for? It's the last time. Okay, yeah, you can also raise your hand. Okay, well, I saw 40% maybe. I guess it's not because all the others don't care. Perhaps it's also not, or maybe it is. What did I say? That you rely on others for that kind of decisions or information. But maybe it's also because the information is just not there or not the right information. Maybe you don't really know what kind of information to use. And that is where GEM comes into the picture. At the moment, earthquake risk information is not very much comparable worldwide. And many people and organizations do not have access to advanced tools for risk assessment. So that is what we're trying to change here. In order to create tangible outputs for a number of things, these are some examples that we think are very important. Making good decisions on investment in DRR. Yesterday there were a number of interesting presentations. Planning, risk awareness, but also open risk assessment and modeling and advancing the science on assessing risk together. So GEM has as a motto, working together to assess risk. And that means that GEM is not me, is not a small group of people that decides how earthquake risk is in the world, but it's a lot of people. This gives you a kind of idea of who we are and how many people are involved, but it's a really, really big collaborative effort. And what we do is we work on integrated earthquake risk assessment. So we find it important that for risk management, we really take into account all the different aspects. And we do that by leveraging science for the benefit of society. And why do we think that is important? Because we've heard, yes, but knowledge is often not used. True. But in order to make, let's say, important decisions, you also need nuanced, reliable, and quantitative information. So that is why we're trying to leverage science for the benefit of society. So how do we do that? We have many, many different projects, and it results in products just like this. This is an example of the instrumental catalog, and this is how it improved in 2 years' time with through a collaborative effort. And there was a relocation of many, many earthquakes, which means that earthquakes where people previously thought that there were earthquakes, there weren't, etc. An interesting example is Taipei, where they found out that an earthquake that happened 1900 something, 70, was actually in the city of Taipei, which has a big impact on the current risk, obviously. Another product that can come out of what we are collaboratively doing is cost-benefit retrofit maps, such as these, that can help you make decisions on where to retrofit and where to designate your money. So how is this all coming together? We're working on this global collaborative platform that will contain data sets, models, risk information products, tools and apps that can be used separately and in a combined fashion. And the first version will be ready at the end of 2014. And I will show you just a little bit about it because I think I have 2 minutes. So you can view global data sets. Here you see building typologies worldwide, split between the urban and rural. You can explore risk data and information, creating your own maps, overlaying different types of information. So this is an example of 2 of these uniform data sets. Capture and integrate new data so that we can continue to grow this global knowledge database, not necessarily database. And you can also share maps, results, etc., rate it so that we can learn together and we can improve risk assessment and management together. So in the end, we will have all these types of products within this platform that you can make use of. And they will start to be very interesting for comparing things on a global level at first, but with your collaboration and by the many collaborations that we have already initiated, it will become more and more valuable when we go from global to local. As I said, only together we can make it work, so we need you guys to then come in and share your ideas, your data, your inputs, your knowledge, so that the products become more and more valuable for everyone for risk assessment worldwide. So these are some of the ideas that we have for organizations to come and work with us to make this platform and the many different products and resources ever more valuable. Just some ideas. If you have others, please come up and let us know. So yeah, let's run in the same direction and work together. Thank you.